What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the tavern. I'm Spencer,
And I'm Eli.
and my brain hurts. Um, I I took an accidental nap not too long ago, and I have the worst headache right now. But we're gonna power through. We're gonna we're gonna get through it. So, couple of things today. First, before we get onto the news and everything, I finally got my hard drive fixed. So I
Hey,
can play things other than Pokemon now. Yay. Um uh so yeah, that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. I'll be playing Borderlands tomorrow.
oh nice.
I'm excited. But that's what's up,
So was it
Ian?
a
What's up, Dead
complicated
Couch?
fix, or was just like you have to delete everything off of it
It
and
we just had
start
to
over?
it wouldn't mount on either my computer or my dad's computer, and um not Borderlands with the boys, Ian. Just my solo run. We can't do the Borderlands with the boys on a Friday afternoon. Um,
I am off tomorrow, but
but our third member is not.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I we just ended up having to reformat it,
No, damn.
delete everything off of it. Luckily, though, I downloaded Borderlands on Steam. I didn't even have to go to the Steam website. It had all the saves on there. I'm gonna check my Xbox games that I've downloaded to check and make sure.
I don't. That would be something you have to check because I don't trust Xbox.
Yeah, that's the thing. Steam, I trusted. I figured Steam was going to be just fine, and it was.
Steam
Um,
is a platform that's being held up by an old man who is stopping the world from just stopping Steam from being computer PC game. Jesus Christ, my brain. PC gaming from becoming a fucking shit show.
it took you quite a while to get through that.
And you're the one with the hurting brain.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Steam definitely is better. I also love all of the downloads that I had been running earlier have all ceased. So we'll figure out what that issue is later. But yeah, Steam's definitely obviously more entrenched in the PC market than Xbox is. So I expect them to have a better solution when something like this happens.
Yeah. Just
Um,
wait till the owner of Steam dies and everything goes horrible.
oh, dude, everything is gonna go horrible, especially when you have companies like Sony trying to dip their toes into the PC market. I know it's second on the board, but let's just get into this. Sony has decided to remaster Horizon Zero Dawn for PC. Horizon Zero
Can I
Dawn.
just ask, why are we remastering a game that came out less than 10 years ago?
Yeah, exactly. That's the exact question everyone's asking. Sony's already had a track record of doing it when they remastered the freaking Last of Us Part 1, as they're calling it now. It was just The Last of Us. Excuse me.
Did they just not never learn?
But I mean, yeah, because at least you know what? At least The Last of Us was 2013, and I think the remaster came out in 2022 or something, 2021. So it's like, okay, it's about a decade. We're console generation ahead now. I still don't agree with it. I don't love it, but yeah, the Horizon Zero Dawn one is unwarranted. Like, not only does that game already look really good, especially when they're remastering it on PC. On PC. What is PC? Just the platform that's notorious for having mods that fix any of the existing issues.
You're right.
Like,
It,
good grief. They already have a ton of different mods that fix graphical issues that frankly make the game look absolutely stunning. because that's just the way modders work. So now they're going to come in with this remastered version, which is going to be one of two things. It is either going to be like a paid for patch that screws up a bunch of mod compatibility, or
Oh yeah.
they're going to remove the old one and put the new one up and charge you full price like it's a new game,
Yep.
and then there's going to be none of the mod compatibility because they screwed it all up. They're not like, the third option would be like an optional like paid update, like they'll leave the old one on the store, but then you could get the remastered one. But they're not going to do that because they would not make money off of that. Like,
Yeah,
nobody's
because it's
going
Sony.
to dump their modded version to go to a...
That everything looks super pretty.
It literally looks better with the mods than their remastered one does. What's up, group? Yeah, Razorbolt, they remastered Spider-Man after it was out for 2 years. They did the same thing with Last of Us Part 2. They are either remastering or have remastered it. I'm going to be real, I stopped paying attention. But that was something they were advertising heavily.
It just makes no sense to me. Why? Oh, my pop filter's off. So sorry if I'm making a lot of pops.
Dude,
It's
I haven't had
fixed
a
now,
pop
but
filter in like a year. Mine broke off a long time ago.
I just don't understand video game companies. Like, yeah, okay, I understood when 343 did remastered Halo CE because it was 15 years old when they did it.
That makes sense, and I understand there's a very remaster centric market, and I'm not blaming Sony for wanting to remaster things. The question I'm asking is, why are they picking a game that released in 2018?
Yeah.
Why are they picking that to remaster? It didn't need to be remastered. Not to mention they're picking to remaster on the PC when Horizon Zero Dawn didn't come to the PC until like 2020, so it's only 4 years old. Like, it's entirely unnecessary. If you want to remaster something, why don't you go back to something you haven't touched in 20 years? Why don't you bring Bloodborne to the PC? Literally, people are telling Sony, we will give you our money if you port Bloodborne to the PC and you port Demon Souls to the PC, and they're not doing it. It doesn't make sense. They did remaster The Last of Us twice. I forgot about that. Literally, like 1 year apart, they were like, hey, we have another remastered Last of Us.
Why?
Oh my god.
I don't get it, man. I truly just don't understand the ideas behind the brains behind video game company. Like,
Dead Couch, Nintendo does have a bunch of remasters. But the thing with a lot of Nintendo's remasters that you can look at, like Heart Gold Soul Silver came out in what, 2009? The original Gold and Silver came out in 1999. That's a 10-year difference. They'd had 2 console generations updated. You know, there's a lot of good things with that. The Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came out a decade after the original ones. Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl came out almost 15 years after the original Diamond and Pearl released. Like, they're giving room, and it's understandable.
Don't give me something that's like 6 years old as a remaster
stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Give me a VR Horizon Zero Dawn.
I think they already did that. Like, you know what? So what was I remember I was listening to something earlier today that somebody was like, here's a bunch of properties that Sony could have chose to remaster that actually would have gotten attention because they haven't had anything for them on it for years. And it's like, wow, yeah, Sony really is making the dumbest decisions you can possibly think of. Like, I know that it's very different. What's up, Cheese? How's it hanging? I know it's different from our perspective when we are the ones who play the video games and not the suits at the top of the company. But I seriously don't understand how they can continue to make dumbass decision after dumbass decision. Like, we literally just talked about them last week for the whole PS5 Pro crap. Like,
Yeah, man. It's just
Sony is nonstop left and right making the worst decisions they could possibly think of. And I don't know how they keep looking at these and going, yeah, this is a good choice.
uh,
It's
man, it
so
drives me
annoying.
insane because like me as I know I'm still just considered a consumer, but I understand like the writing room side of video games.
Well,
It
and
makes
I
no sense to
understand the
remaster
development
stuff.
side.
It makes zero sense to remaster. You know what? If they actually went through and completely remastered like KOTOR, like 1 and 2, that would go crazy in today's um
That's
market.
exactly it, Croup. It's oh, the topic we're talking right now. Sony's remastering Horizon Zero Dawn. Cheese. But they absolutely are looking at it in the idea of, oh, if we release this, we'll make more money. The thing they're missing is they don't understand how the PC market works. They could release a remaster of Horizon Zero Dawn on console and get a decent number of people to buy it
Yeah.
because there's precedent for that already with the remasters they have released. But they're doing this on PC where nobody is going to buy this if they already own the normal Horizon Zero Dawn. And if anybody does any research before buying it, they're not going to buy this version anyways because they're going to buy the other version that they can mod. It like Sony doesn't understand the PC market, so it's not even going to make them money. That's what I don't understand. They're literally being told all you have to do is port Demon Souls and Bloodborne to PC and you will rake in the cash because people have been begging you to put those games on
Yeah.
PC for 10 plus years. Demon Souls goes all the way back to 2009. Bloodborne released in 2015, so you don't even have to remaster Bloodborne. Bloodborne already looks fantastic. You can do some graphical updates. Like there are games that have done that have been successful because it's like, oh hey, look at this. We have a game that came out 10 years ago. It doesn't look too terrible, but let's release like a 1 gigabyte patch that fixes some of the graphics and updates it a little bit, makes it look a little bit prettier. Like that's all you'd have to
Yeah.
do. Like there's precedent for all of this stuff, and Sony continues to just be like, no, we're gonna try and treat the PC market the same as we do treat our own market. It's
Yeah.
asinine. It makes no sense.
It's man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Since we played Stardew on Tuesday, I've been doing nothing but playing Stardew.
Oh really?
So, to me, it's like, man, how many copies of Stardew has sold?
Dude,
And it's
so many.
basically a flash game where the modding community for that is just like, hey, I had a cool idea, let's add this in. And the creator's like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Throw it in there. Get it up on the mod community. And he actually goes through and reads the stuff and looks over and is like, oh yeah, maybe I should add 8-player multiplayer. Maybe I should do stuff like this.
Exactly.
Maybe I should go and put on the winter clothing for all the villagers.
You're absolutely right, Cheese. The gaming industry does need a reboot, and I think it's going to hit one before too long. No, I haven't seen the video where Skeletor sells the PS5 Pro, but I think I'm gonna go watch that after the podcast now. Um, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, the problem is the gaming industry is run there's a split down the middle with the gaming industry, and we've talked about it a bunch. There's the big companies and there's the indie developers, and the big companies are the ones that churn out the highly publicized releases, and that's where you get the Pokemon, the Call of Duty, the
Yeah.
Halo, like they're the the ones that have some sort of backing. Horizon Zero Dawn. Like don't get me wrong, I played through Horizon Zero Dawn. I loved the game. Like the concept of the robot dinosaurs is just cool. Like as a
I have to
basis, it's
agree. That
cool.
game looked really cool. I didn't have a PS, whatever, when it came out, so I was like, That was one of those games where I was looking at getting a PS just to play that game, and then I was like, I'll just wait a year until it comes to PC.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean now you can get it on PC, and I found it fun. Would I replay through it? Probably not,
No.
just because
I heard the second game was terrible.
I have the second game and I have not played through it. And I think it's just one of those things where I've hit open world fatigue finally.
Yeah.
Like I love open world games, but when you play enough of them, eventually you do get to the point where you're like, well, I like these three open world games, so I think I'm just gonna play these ones instead of playing new ones over and over again.
It's
like
like Skyrim. Like, how many times could you go through and replay
I
Skyrim
was
before
gonna
it got
say,
boring?
dude, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to do a Skyrim series like I did with Fallout New Vegas, where I just go through and kill every NPC in the game, like add mods that let certain what are the essential NPCs be killed, and just do a kill everything run in Skyrim. I'm like, I kind of want to do that. That seems like it could be kind of fun. And I'm picking that over playing like Star Wars Outlaws, which is supposed to be a new game that's open world and it's in Star Wars, and
I,
big
man,
companies have the recourses to churn out crap so fast that even the crap makes enough to keep them running. Yeah,
yeah,
that's the thing. and
um,
and that's indie developers have to be so careful because they can't spend their time on a project that's not going to work.
yeah,
Pirate Software talked about it. It's the loop you have to get in as a small development studio, where it's like when you have a hit, the like small development studios need to make small games, and then they build up to that one big game. And if that big game
hmm
hits, you don't go, oh, okay, now we're going for another big swing. You go back to making small games. Because that big game was a hit, you've got more attention on you now. Now you need to go back to making smaller games that you know you're capable of delivering on. And then after a little bit, then you can aim to make your next big game. But
yeah,
if you start jumping into these big hitters one after another, you're going to outgrow your capabilities really quickly and end up getting to projects where it's like we don't have the money to finish this, and you don't realize that until halfway through. So
yeah,
indie studios have to be more careful than these big companies can.
exactly.
Well, I mean,
It's like we could make a video game, and if it shot off well, we would probably not do another big video game because there's like we just keep doing the itty bitty ones that like, hey, yeah, the playtime's 3 hours, but uh, you're going to it's the game time is like 3 hours for the main story or whatever. But
yeah, I said
we
that's what Pirate Software said, group. That he was who I was quoting, yes. But sorry.
Yeah, basically, we would just keep making little things until you get a big enough audience where it's like, okay, we can take a risk with a bigger game. And if it doesn't work, it sucks, but we can still relax a little bit because we still have
We still
time
have these
saved up.
smaller games that we fall back onto. And it's like, okay, well that one
Yeah.
didn't work. Let's go back to making smaller games. Yeah. The Pirate Software is so intelligent with stuff like that. Like, I've learned a lot from him. But yeah, like Group mentions, Team Cherry. They've released one game, and that's Hollow Knight. Then they said, we're releasing a sequel to Hollow Knight, and it's 7 years later, and people still, every single time there's a Nintendo Direct, a PlayStation update, an Xbox thing, everybody's like, this is it. This is when Silk Song's getting announced. Like, people are chomping at the bit for a sequel to Hollow Knight. And it's almost a decade now since they announced it.
Yeah. It's like indie game development is a much different scene than the big game developers. And you and me know that because are looking into that side.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like,
Well,
man,
and when you look at it as an indie, sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead, say what you're gonna say.
I lost track as soon as you started talking. Go ahead.
That's my bad. Like the thing that you miss. So, like, to compare and contrast, you have me, who, if we were to develop a game, I'm the sole game developer. I'm the only one who does the coding. We don't have an
Yeah.
artist, so I'd have to do the art as well. And like you're looking, I was just reading about it earlier. Somebody was like, yeah, there are animators at game studios who are just animators. Like, they don't really give a crap about gaming. Like, one guy in a comment section was talking about how his brother-in-law works at Blizzard, and he animated a cutscene in a game, and it was like a 5 second animation that nobody else is going to really pay attention to, but he was super proud of it because he spent time on it and did his thing and everything. And like, you don't get that as an indie developer. You don't have that person who can just be like, hey, you animate this thing. Oh, hey, you like making backgrounds, you like making art. You have to go outside and be like, you either have to develop the art yourself, like learn how to do it, or just accept that your game's going to have a kind of a crappy art style, or you have to go and pay somebody else to do the art for you.
Yeah.
You know, Raven, Pal World is fun. It's so we'll get into that in just a second because I have some words about that. You can get it on Game Pass. If you like survival games, I would recommend it because I found it fun. I personally felt it needed more features before I could actually sink a lot of time into it.
Mm.
I ended
I know
up
you
getting
and
all
me
the
streamed
achievements.
it.
Yeah, we streamed it. I ended up going and getting all the achievements in it until they added an update, but um I was of the opinion that I'm like, okay, it's almost there. Give it a year or two of content updates and I think I might come back to it. Pal World Nuzlocke. I don't know that would work. One of the best studios out there is still Sucker Punch. They've been chugging along for decades without falter. Oh, Sucker Punch. What games have they made, Group? Games thrive on popularity to make them big. Big game companies don't need that since they're already known by everyone, so they can just do it and expect profit. Well, not to mention the big game companies can afford to just be like, hey, let's put out a commercial on TV.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do an ad campaign on social media. You know, oh, hey, here's this big development thing like the the Sony the what's the State of Play. That's the PlayStation one.
State of Play.
State of Play, the
Nintendo Direct.
Nintendo Directs, the Xbox one that I don't remember the name of. But it's like when they can just go, "Oh, hey, Xbox, we want an update thing." Or I mean, for crap's sake, if it's a Microsoft or Sony game studio, they can just go, "Hey, we're putting a trailer out in this thing." And it's like people are watching, the hype will spread because it's a big game company. Like, it's much easier for them.
Yeah. Where indie games, you have to get lucky to like, hey, yeah, we're putting something out, and you like try and get it put in at like the Game Awards or something along those lines.
And you just gotta catch the right wave.
Yeah.
Like you
And
take a look at the indie games that have exploded, you like Undertale and Stardew and Lethal Company, like Hollow Knight. They
it's right place, right time, because there's a lot of games that like fit those descriptions that came out too early and sucked. And other games that came out too late where everyone's like, now you're just trying to get on with the hype of the other games, so they get mostly ignored, even though they're good games on their own.
exactly. Okay, 2 Sly Cooper games and 3 Infamous games. Yeah, the and Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, they're a freaking home run of a dev studio. They're awesome. Um but yeah, it's the gaming industry is complicated, and I do think the gaming industry is headed for a reboot, like Cheese mentioned. I have a feeling that we're about to experience before too long a video game crash, not too dissimilar to what happened with ET, but not because of low quality games or anything, because it's getting too expensive to make games.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have a lot of big name developers dropping the market just because it's too expensive to make a game. Like
Hmm.
when you're spending more on a video game than most Hollywood movies get in a budget, like that's crossing some
Ridiculous.
insane territory. Cuz what was the um Last of Us 2 budget? 220 million to make The Last of Us Part 2. 220
That's
million. That is more than most films get.
yeah.
Most films get like half that. How about
But
what's another recent game? Elden Ring. Now Elden Ring is a success story. Obviously Elden Ring made more uh than their amount. Battlefield 2042 budget is reportedly $2 billion.
what?
Elden Ring was 200 million.
Um
Biggest budget video games. List of most expensive games to develop. Genshin Impact took 700 million plus. Star Citizen 630 million plus. Monopoly Go $500 million. Cyberpunk 2077 441.9 million. Marvel Spider-Man 3, not even finished yet, is already at $385 million. Like I want to check that claim that it said 2042 and 2 billion, cuz that's a little insane. And you can watch it, like the curve just shoot higher, because so if we go back, GTA 5 development cost 137 million. That was 10 years ago. Max Payne 3 105 million. Battlefield 4 that released in 2013 100 million. Uh Defiance 80 million plus. That was 2013.
Okay, here you go. Stardew Valley. This is a comparable one. It has
That's exactly the thing I'm saying, group. It's the big studios like Ubisoft, Activision, a lot of the ones that are producing these big budget titles, EA, I think are not going to be able to make enough money to reason continuing to make video games, and they're going to end up going under.
Yeah. So Stardew Valley, it does not have a price on how much it costs to make. However, he made the game using wages as a part-time theater usher in 2012.
Right. So the thing with him, his expenses was mostly time, since he's a solo developer. He didn't have to pay anybody.
Yeah.
So
And he did everything.
he made everything. He did the art, he did the coding, he did the writing, he did, like, yeah, top to
It also
bottom,
took
he did
him
everything.
4.5 years go from nothing to the game release. It's ridiculous. 4.5 years.
Yeah.
But he did everything.
Dude, that's the way it is sometimes with game development, which is, I'll admit, that's one of the things that's scaring me from actually like starting to get into it, because the idea of having this plan and delving into it, and then it's like, now I have to spend the next 5 years of my life actually trying to put it together and, get it working. That's a little concerning to me. Like, if I'm working on a dev team and it's like, yeah, we're all working together, so I've got my thing to do. But if it's just me by myself, that's an overwhelming amount of stuff to have to do, to account for art, to account for, I know you do the writing, but it's still like art and coding are all my job, and that's a lot.
I mean, the sad part is you and me could probably both figure out the art. I just can't do the color.
Right.
Which would basically mean I can do the initial sketches, but then it's
you
like,
are doing
okay,
the
well,
colorblind mode art.
it doesn't fucking matter. There's 3 different kinds of color blindness.
I know. And you've got shade blindness too, so
It's great.
Oh boy.
How I've made it this far in this world is a surprise to me.
20 years Tyler might be complaining about the cost of Micro Cherries and Silksong Combat Evolved remastered long after the original members left. Yeah. The gaming industry is certainly in a state right now, and Nintendo is not contributing to that. Is not helping that in any way by
No.
so this was ballyhooed about a lot at the beginning of the year. We talked about it, 8 months ago now.
Yeah, we kind of were like, if it happens, it happens, but I think they need more proof.
I was saying that it wouldn't happen because they didn't have grounds for the lawsuit. But Nintendo has officially issued a lawsuit towards Pocket Pair is the developer of Pal World. And I can pull up the legal document that they submitted that is public. Let's see. Okay. Nintendo will continue to take necessary action against the infringement of its intellectual property rights, including the Nintendo brand itself, to protect the intellectual properties it has worked hard to establish over the years. People keep pointing to this Pokemon and this PAL look similar. Like, where it's like, okay, none of them are close enough, in my opinion, to really reason like, yeah, Nintendo owns that design just because it looks similar. Are they suing them in American court or Japanese court? I think they're suing them in Japanese court because they're both Japanese
Oh.
companies.
Mm.
It's not an
Well then,
international lawsuit. Uh,
yeah.
but Pocket Pair did respond and say they're unaware of what they've infringed on, which I believe is absolutely the truth. So the thing about this lawsuit is I do not think this is a legitimate lawsuit. Meaning, I don't think Nintendo spent the last 8 months looking at this and going, oh yeah, we have a case here. Rather, I think this is a Nintendo has spent the last 8 months seeing this game still manage to hold some popularity, and people are criticizing Nintendo over their lack of innovation for the Pokemon series. And Nintendo went, let's scare them. Let
Yeah.
us get litigious because everybody knows Nintendo is one of the most litigious companies in the world, rivaled only by Disney. And they said, let's
Mhm.
start throwing a lawsuit around to scare them into getting rid of the game.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that is the case, because behind what grounds could Nintendo stand on? Is it because it's a game about capturing monsters? Nope, those existed before Pokemon. Nintendo's not the first one to do that, nor are they the only series to do, like freaking Yu-Gi-Oh and Digimon, and I mean there's so many other instances of capturing some sort of
Yeah.
monster in a game that it's like they can't go off of that grounds. Are they suing because it's throwing balls at those monsters to capture them? Nope, that's too broad. Like they can't sue off of the basis of that. None of the designs are exact creations of a Pokemon, nor are they like a Pokemon with the color changed. Even if they look, even if you can look at one and go, "Oh yeah, that one definitely was inspired by Lucario." It's not a close enough design to say, yes, that is Lucario. They just stole it. So there's absolutely no basis in any world for this lawsuit, and it's literally just Nintendo trying to scare Pocket Pair.
Yeah.
Imagine Nintendo should be more upset about all the Pokemon ROM hacks before Pal World. Oh, trust me, they're trying to shut that down too. They hate emulation. Nintendo is a staunch critic of emulation, which is the dumbest thing because it's the best way to preserve games. Literally,
Yeah.
I would have no way of playing all of these Pokemon games that I have been on stream if it wasn't for emulation. You want to know
After
why?
gonna
Because
see you now.
Nintendo doesn't sell that anymore, and you'd have to spend a freaking entire paycheck on a single game cartridge.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo does a lot of things that they do a lot of things right as a game company, but man, they do a lot of things that piss me off. And the whole fight against emulation is one of them. Hey, dumbasses, you aren't making any money off of these anymore. Like like hey, let's take a look at Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. You want to know when those released? 2002. And I think Emerald was 2004. Nintendo, that's 20 years ago. You don't even sell the console that they play on anymore. You don't sell the cartridges anymore. You don't make them anymore. You are making literally zero money off of it, and yet you still get your panties in a twist whenever somebody decides to play a Game Boy emulator on their computer because you're too dense to actually do something to rectify that. Like you don't say, "Oh, well yeah, let's release a modernized Game Boy or let's do no, you don't do that. You just say, "No, we don't want you to have emulators because we don't want you to have fun. That's not official hardware." Like gosh, they can shove it up their ass. Like
Wow.
sorry. Like I know I make the joke on stream where I'm like, no, I'm playing a totally legit console. But I mean, No joke, Nintendo hates that. Nintendo hates that I'm emulating their games. Nintendo hates that I am appreciating a product that they made because they're not making money off of it when they wouldn't make money off of it anyways. Even Pokemon X and Y, it's already 10 years old. Gosh, that feels weird to say, but I'd have to go find a 3DS off of somebody for $200 and then spend another 70 to buy Pokemon X or Y, and like I wouldn't be able to I wouldn't be able to stream it.
Yeah.
So like why do they get so freaking up in arms about the emulator stuff? Like, you know what? The Switch I can understand because the Switch is an active console. I could go to Walmart right now and buy a Nintendo Switch and buy
Yeah.
Pokemon Sword, Scarlet,
Sword, Shield,
Legends
Scarlet, and
Arceus,
Violet. Yeah.
like Odyssey, like I could buy all their games right now. So that I can understand them not wanting the Yuzu emulator to exist. Although my counter to that is the only way to play on that is to dump your Switch files onto your computer. So you're playing on an objectively better hardware by dumping your Switch files. You already have to own a Switch to get it to work. And you have to own the game.
Yeah.
So that would be my argument to that. Can you find the stuff for the game online? Yes, of course. You can pirate every single game. You're never going to beat pirating. Like there's no concrete way to beat pirating.
Well, there is.
Well, there's countermeasures you can take, but none of the countermeasures are 100% foolproof.
Yeah, just get rid of the internet altogether and no more pirating.
Well, okay. That'd fix a lot of issues, but we're talking realistic.
It is realistic.
Like, a lot of the anti-piracy stuff is... See, you want to know the funny ones? Old anti-piracy in video games from like the 90s, there are puzzle games that you can't complete anymore because part of the anti-piracy measure was hiding a solution in the box that you bought the game in. So you'd have to actually flip through the physical manual to get the solution, and if you didn't put in the right answer, like I don't remember which one in particular it was, but I watched a video about it because it was a video about different anti-piracy measures. And literally, if you answer the question wrong 3 times, it locks you in a jail cell and you can't progress the game. Like one of those old point and click adventure games.
That's amazing.
Like it just locks you in and it's like, that's it. You're done. We know you pirated it because you didn't answer the right question. We literally tell you what page to go to on the manual, and you didn't input the right answer. So you stole the game, and that was what anti-piracy measures used to be.
Yeah.
Now, there are plenty of anti-piracy measures that are in place for a lot of games, but I can tell you right now, that doesn't prevent them from being pirated.
Yeah.
Like, there are plenty of people, like, on the surface web. You don't even have to dig that deep to find pirated games. It is a problem.
Funny.
Like, I mean, I talked about it on stream where I joked about pirating games, but I'm like, I would be absolutely moronic to actually encourage pirating games as a game developer. Like, that would be the stupidest stance I could take, to be like, yeah, pirating games is good. Like, but don't pirate mine. That would be bad. But I do love the people.
Don't pirate mine.
When I was listening to a video kind of breaking down what we know about the lawsuit, there were people in the comments. One person was like, remember, it's morally okay to pirate Nintendo products. And I was like, you know what?
I like the way you think.
Yeah, I was like, I may not 100% agree with you, but I understand. Pirate Software made an unpiratable game. Yeah,
Yes,
he
he did.
did. Still, you know the amount of hoops he had to jump through to make it unpiratable. It was
Yeah.
not an easy task. But he's also a freaking savant when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know if you've seen his video about his anti-cheat methods for one of their games. Um, it was the game was Breakfast of Champions, I think, is what the game was called. And whenever you booted up the game, you got a random integer between 1 and 2, and
Mm-hmm.
it would multiply your score by that number. And then when your score hit the leaderboard, it would do the equation in reverse. And if your score did not reverse to that same number, like didn't uh, the math didn't
Calculate right.
calculate right, you are immediately banned and put on the wall of shame, and that's the only way you could ever participate in the game again, is to cheat and participate on the wall of shame. Um, because they know you cheated because you changed the score, uh, and it didn't match with the multiplier. Which I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's an incredibly creative way of figuring out if somebody cheated. And what that does too, while obviously that's a more basic game and you can't implement something like that for, Rainbow Six or League of Legends or stuff like that. Um, it works. It prevents you from having to do this kernel level anti cheat that, like, sticks its grimy fingers deep into your machine.
Yeah.
I gotta say that's one of the reasons I don't do Infinite anymore.
Yeah.
As I've learned more about those anti cheat systems, it's like I don't want to play a game that has those super deep anti cheat systems. I understand people don't want to deal with cheaters, but frankly, I think there are better ways to deal with cheaters than basically rooting yourself to the person's sit. Like, literally, they're one layer away from being able to access your entire computer, and
That's
I hate that.
horrifying.
Yeah, exactly. It's and that Pirate Software has talked about that he hates kernel level anti cheat, especially because the thing with cheating is it always what they do is if nobody's learned how cheaters do things in video games, Pirate Software does explain it, but basically every time a cheater gets detected and a system a method, you know what, hold on, I'm gonna open MS Paint, like
You're gonna pull him.
I'm gonna pull a him. Hold on. Oh gosh, how do I turn on dark mode?
I
Uh,
think he just paints it black.
I mean, he must. I don't know how to do. All right, sorry everybody. Flashbang. So when the cheater does one level of cheat right here, and then they find it, it's like okay, now the uh, game company knows how to detect that cheat. So cheaters go one level deeper. And so the game company goes one level deeper, and then the cheaters go, and the game company goes, and they get to the point where the cheater will be using a second computer. Don't you love my drawing? To to cheat off of and connect to their main computer that they're playing the game on, and they basically keep No, don't save. Go away, MS Paint. They basically keep going layers deeper to the point where now, like, if you have kernel level anti cheat, it has a concerning amount of access to your system. Like, seriously. This is one of those things the AI would be great for. Imagine having the capability of a dedicated team of people watching back replays, but for the entire game's existence. See, and that's the thing. I hate AI because AI is being used for the wrong things. AI is
Yes.
being used to replace, like, companies want to
Replace
voice
artists.
actors, they want to replace artists, they want to replace writers, they, like, I mean, for crap's sake, I don't know if I ranted about it on the podcast, but I was in the break room at work with Tyler when a commercial came on for IBM that it was like showing this woman at her desk coding, and she'd be, like, doing a time lapse where she's moving around the office trying to do other things, and coming back to the computer and everything, trying to figure out how to fix this code. And then it's just like, but with IBM's new AI, and she just does like a thing, and the AI is like, oh, here's the code you want, and she copy pastes it and drops it in. Like, that doesn't work. The AI is too stupid to write competent code. That's not how that works. The AI writes the code in the messiest, worst way possible, and then you have to spend the same amount of time that you would have just making it, or even more, trying to fix it into a format that you can actually use. So the AI is freaking useless for stuff like that. Don't try and what's the word? Market the AI as this thing that can, replace a developer or replace a writer. It can't, because it's too stupid. It doesn't know how to do stuff like that. It doesn't know how to properly format code. It doesn't know how to write a competent story. It doesn't know how to do that. What the AI should be used for is tedious stuff like that. Watching over people's gameplay. Let me put in, and frankly, you don't even need a freaking AI. You just need to make an algorithm that can go, okay, here are the things that are acceptable, here are the things that aren't. If the algorithm flags this recording as this gameplay as suspicious, we can send it over to somebody who can review it and go, okay, yes, this is suspicious, this person was cheating, ban. Like, you don't even need an AI for most of the stuff they're trying to use AI for. All you have to do is make an algorithm. The thing with the AI is, it just makes it so somebody doesn't actually have to type out the code to do the thing. Which, frankly, doing that is still better. So that's the thing that I hate about AI, is it's being abused by companies, and it's the dumbest things that, like, they're using it for the worst things. Like, there's so many things that you could be doing with AI that actually would be awesome. Like, you know what? You want to use an AI to write all the little minutia dialogue that random NPCs spout off in an open world game, so one jackass doesn't have to sit there for 27 hours writing one-off lines that are just stupid nonsense filler. Yeah, that's great. The AI can do that much faster, and you don't have to waste that person's time. But that's not what they want to do. As the podcast has gone on, my headache has felt better, and I've just been, like, more high energy with some of this stuff, because I hate AI with the way it's being used now.
Yeah.
See, that the thing, group, yes, an algorithm won't always work, but an AI won't necessarily either, because the AI is going to, what you'll have to do is, the AI will not recognize when the cheating changes. The AI won't necessarily recognize that's a bad thing, because it's not going to be in the parameters for what it needs to recognize. Somebody still has to make an example of it, submit it to the AI, and say, hey, this is bad now too. Then the AI will start recognizing it just like an algorithm would. It's just
Yeah.
the AI doesn't require the extra amount of work. The AI just goes, oh, okay, that's bad, and adds it in. The algorithm you'd have to actually code in, but established artists routinely make much better art using AI art generators than just some random person. Well, yeah, that too. My uncle is a photographer, and he used AI to edit some of his pictures to like turn him into a Civil War soldier, and to like do things like that, and they come out looking. It looks like him. The AI didn't garble it at all, but it's because it's actual pictures that he took, submitted through the AI, and put in a detailed description of what he wanted it to do. And
Yeah.
stuff like that, fine. You know what? I made me and Eli Pokemon trainer sprites using AI.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's why they were so damn good.
I was gonna say you couldn't tell because they actually ended up pretty decent. But small things like that, I think, is that like I think that's fine. Because let's be real, I wasn't going to pay somebody to make us sprites like that.
Yeah.
Even if I had the money to, I probably wouldn't have. So it's not like I'm taking money away from anybody in that situation.
It's the same thing when, like, especially when you and me both use it for D&D, when it's like, oh yeah, I
Yes.
need what an NPC looks like, or hey, this is what this symbol looks like. Yeah, I can't draw for shit, but here,
And
this
even
gives them an idea of what they're looking at.
even if I don't necessarily show you guys the picture of the character I've generated, it gives me an idea of like, okay, here's some features that I can describe to give them that mental image. Like it gives me something to reference when I'm describing it to the party. Like
Yeah.
that is another instance. Like I would never in any world pay somebody an exorbitant amount of money to make art for a D&D game, especially when things are typically going to be one-off, or we'll use it for one campaign and then never again. Like, I'm not going to do that. So that's where the AI comes in handy for stuff like that.
Exactly.
The problem is it's being so blown out of proportion, and now the thing that's pissing me off is every single new phone that is being advertised with AI. Oh, you couldn't do the... Remember when all phones used to be the same? Now ours isn't the same because it has AI. Oh, wow, yeah, now yours isn't the same because it's retarded. I'm sorry. Like, the AI is not going to help that phone function any better. It is...
Gonna make it worse somehow.
Gonna make it so much worse. And like, it's funny. This is one of my like autistic hyperfixations is technology and like how technology works, which I will say the more I learn about cybersecurity, the more scary the internet is, and it's why I've changed the way I do passwords for everything. Like I truly used to, with a lot of my old accounts, use the same password for everything. I didn't see the problem with it.
I still do that.
I don't do that anymore. After I realized how easy it is to exploit that, I'm like, oh, and I went and changed all of my passwords. And each password for each individual thing is different, and there's so many of them that I don't have saved on Google. The only ones that I have saved to autofill are ones where I'm like, this is literally useless. No one is ever going to use my password for this. There is no banking information connected to this. There's nothing that can be exploited. But I now use, legitimately, I could show my password on stream and people would not be able to figure out what my password is because I use steganography. Another thing I learned from pirate software. It's literally a picture. I show you a picture and you will have no idea what my password is based off of that picture. I look at it and go, yep, I know what it is. Because I made it based off of the picture. But you could spend hours, days, weeks, and you would not be able to come up with the password I made off of this image.
Bold words, Cotton.
I mean, you could try. I like legitimately, if it wasn't just on my phone, I would put the picture that I use for my YouTube password. Okay, not my main YouTube account, my side one that's all about coding. That I don't upload on. I just use it for the coding videos. But legitimately, I would pop it up on screen right now and show it and be like, go ahead.
Good luck.
Try and figure out what my password is. Pirate Software literally does that on stream. He's like, you want my Twitch password? Here's my Twitch password. And he pulls up the picture. He's like, good luck. You'll never figure it out. But it's like that thing that it's like the difference between a tech enthusiast and an engineer. And the tech enthusiast is like, my whole house is wired to the Internet of Things. I can change my thermostat from my phone. I can do this. I can do that. And then the engineer's like, the most recent piece of technology I own is a printer from 2004, and I have a handgun ready to shoot it if it makes a weird noise.
Yeah.
Like,
it's... So, me and my dad have this printer that he got from his job, like 10 years ago. It's like an industrial printer. Like, 5K worth of printer. It's huge.
jeez.
We keep a hammer next to it. Because it has a habit of just stopping. It'll just stop working. So you just take the hammer, hit it a couple times, and it starts working again.
The iPhone 23 will be part vape pen. Don't tell that to Eli. He'll go and buy it now.
Shut up. Listen, man.
Oh, boy.
Why you gotta bully me, man? Not all of us can be straight edge like you, man.
Straight edge.
And that's actually what it's called.
I know. It's just funny. Who named themselves Nintendo and then came into the chat.
Hello, this is Nintendo official.
That would be really funny if it was the official Nintendo channel.
Heard you were talking shit.
Yeah, there is no content on this channel. Joined February 10th. Wait, so this was... Oh, okay. That would have been really funny if I opened up their YouTube channel and it was actually Nintendo. I'm just like, oh. Yes.
Nintendo's great.
I'll say it right to Nintendo's face. You suck.
Don't do what you tell me.
F you, I won't do what you tell me. F you, I won't do what you tell me. What's the oh gosh, Good Charlotte, the anthem. Why did I forget how it goes?
Hold on, I gotta go look at something because I think the guy that's covering the major. So the guy who's covering all my shifts at work right now,
yeah,
sliced open his hand.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's what it is. I don't ever want to be like you. I don't want to do the things you do. I'm never gonna hear the words you say. 'Cause I don't ever wanna be you. Don't wanna be just like you.
Just like you.
What I'm saying is, this is
And
the
this
anthem.
is the
Throw all your hands up, you.
you.
Don't wanna be you. Unslice it. Cast mending. Which is just super glue.
I have I told you about the worst cut I ever had?
Yes.
Like in recent time.
Oh. Maybe not.
So I was working with an avocado. And for those who don't know,
Oh, I think you
sharp
have told me this.
sharp knives and avocado do not go together well.
No.
It went through the avocado into my hand. I still have the scar on either side, like in the palm part. Then it runs right across all the lines in my hand. It's just, and I did it in a hospital.
I forgot.
And my
you did it in the
response,
hospital.
and my response was, well, at least it could have been a worse place to do this. And then I had to super glue my hand back together. And everybody made fun of me. Because it was pretty funny, because I think my reaction was, oops. Or I didn't see that one coming.
Show a pic of the hand. He doesn't
Of
have the
my hand?
capability.
No. It looks like he got himself either in his index finger or his pinky finger. I didn't really look at the image.
Nice.
But he got a good slab of it.
Oh shoot, Nintendo's trending on Twitter.
Oh?
It's because of us. But yeah, this is another thing people were bringing up. Nintendo actually had a lot of designs from the first generation of Pokemon that were eerily similar to Dragon Quest monsters. About the same level of difference as there is with the Pal World characters.
I'm interested to see on what intellectual property they're trying to go with here.
I seriously doubt that Oh. Oh, there's no shot.
What?
Nintendo are so infuriated Palworld wasn't able to be charged on design copyright grounds, they created a patent for the game mechanic pointing and aiming an item for launch, specifically just to sue Palworld. Literally. Storage medium, storing game program, game system, game apparatus, game processing method, publication number, whatever. Abstract. In a first mode, an aiming direction in a virtual space is determined based on a second operation input, and a player character is caused to launch. In the aiming direction, an item that affects a field character disposed on a field in the virtual space, based on a third operation input. In a second mode, the aiming direction is determined based on the second operation input, and the player character is caused to launch in the aiming direction a fighting character that fights based on the third operation input. Type application. Filed May 2nd, 2024. Publication date August 22nd, 2024. Applicants Nintendo, the Pokemon Company. They literally filed a patent this year for a game that involves throwing a thing at another thing so they could sue Palworld.
Wow.
That's what they're doing. Nintendo is even worse than I thought. The thing you have to talk about this is, should game mechanics be able to be patented?
Oh.
Because now you're looking at a wider thing. Like, for example, I don't know if you remember the whole thing with the React channel, the React Bros, the Fine Bros, that's who they are, trying to copyright the word React.
You can't copyright words.
Exactly. And I think
And
you
that
should.
became a Supreme Court ruling, but
Yep.
that's only here in America.
Oh, and they slapped them down hard in the Supreme Court too. They laughed them out of court. But I think the same thing should apply for game mechanics.
Okay. My thing with that is there are some games that like need a very specific mechanic. And
Yes.
like if it's a very original mechanic, like I'm trying to think off the top of my head for one in recent years. Oh, okay, here's one. Um so this is actually from Space Marine. So bear with me. There's a mechanic in the coding of Space Marine that basically treats all the enemies, which
That's
is the
funny.
Tyranid Swarm, as ants. And they managed to code it where they could have 100,000 of these enemies in the level at the same time coming at you. And they will divert in different directions to try and find the shortest path to you. Even if it means it's hitting a wall, they will build a ramp out of their bodies to let other ones up at you.
Okay.
And I think it's called. It's a micro engine, I believe. It's like a HiveMind micro engine. It's been used in a few other games too, mostly zombie games. But that's something that's like, okay, that makes sense if you wanted to try and trademark that.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly. I mean, World War Z, the game used something similar to that. And
I think
yeah, not
they.
every mechanic is the same. Just as every other thing, some things are too general, and that's the same thing. And I don't see a way that it could hold up in court that Nintendo would patent that after the creation of Pal World and then be able to retroactively apply it to them. That I'm sorry, that has zero basis in law, in
Yeah.
any like anything. There
I'll
should
be
be no
interested to
world
see
they're
how
able to
that
do that.
comes out. I'll be interested to see the outcome of that one. Hmm. Sorry, I'm reading stuff. Because I'm an old man. I gotta get like up on my screen to read.
Yeah, you're good. But gosh, I can't believe this.
Ah, man, makes me feel old. Remember back in the good old days of video games?
Oh man. This is why we play older video games, because they're so much better.
I had a blast playing Stardew, man.
Stardew's great. Do you want to make that like a weekly?
I was gonna ask you about that off stream if we wanted to keep going with it just once a week
I
for a
mean,
while.
absolutely. I'm down. Freaking nobody watched it, but I don't even care.
I had fun.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my thing that like I want to have fun. I'm not. That's another. I don't want to get into a whole nother tangent because we're kind of winding down here. But uh, YouTube is not being done for fun anymore. It's being done to make
Yeah,
money,
no.
which it's frustrating because especially now. I don't know if you saw. It was the most wild thing yesterday. Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, and KSI are making a Lunchables competitor named Lunchly that will have the Mr. Beast Feastables bar and Prime in it. And they're doing all sorts of things to try and hype this up and make it seem like Prime is so, or well, Lunchly is so good and Lunchables suck because there's more calories in Lunchables and blah, and freaking Dan TDM, the Diamond Minecart, a Minecraft YouTuber that has been making videos since like 2008, chimed in and said it's sad how YouTubers are just here to sell products now. Logan Paul responded and he was like, "Oh, Lunchables are unhealthy and they've been in multiple lawsuits for containing lead." And people responded. Like Twitter, he got smacked down by the Twitter notes. It was like, yeah, Prime currently has like 6 ongoing lawsuits for containing lead, so I don't think you have much room to talk.
Yeah.
But it's just the thing, like Jacksepticeye said it a few years ago, and it was such a controversial thing at the time. Like, oh my gosh, Jacksepticeye doesn't like Mr. Beast. And his reasoning was he took the fun out of YouTube. He's not doing YouTube for fun anymore. He's doing it for money. And so everything is super calculated, and there's nothing off the cuff. There's nothing they're not there to have fun. They're there to make money. And that's what I hate about it. Like, if I could make money doing this, that'd be fantastic. But you look at other people who are making money doing this, like PewDiePie, like Ray,
Ray, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Ray actually does not make money from YouTube.
Not in YouTube. He makes money from Twitch.
So I do understand he'll make a bit of money from Twitch, but I think he makes more from his store.
He does. He definitely makes more from his store. But, I mean, dude, people drop in and drop like $500 donations for him on Twitch.
See, like, if somebody dropped that much of a donation on me, I would be doing dirty things to them.
Dude, his first stream after leaving Achievement Hunter and becoming a full-time streamer, he had somebody drop a $1,500 donation.
Oh yeah, he cried on stream.
He cried on stream. Like, he called his mom because he within like the first hour of streaming, people had donated like $5,000 to him.
Yeah.
And like, so he makes a good amount of money. I can guarantee that. But he still does it for fun.
Yeah. He does bring that up in in some of his streams, like his Roulette's play or whatever it is. Where he's like, if I'm just not having fun with the game, I just will put it down. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the same thing. Yeah, 100%. That's the way I feel. Like, you know what? Nobody watched Stardew. I have fun playing Stardew, so I don't care.
You and me get to hang out for 6 hours.
Yeah, exactly. We don't get a ton of views on this podcast, but I still like doing the podcast because it gives us an opportunity to just talk about something without having some gameplay in the background. Do I still love the Pokemon videos that I end up getting 100 views on? Yes, of course. I love playing Pokemon. Even when I suffer, it's still at least a little bit fun. But it's like, I'm never going to look at a game that I don't want to play, that I don't enjoy, and force myself to suffer through it for content.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to do that. And I've done that before, where I've started a game and I've been like, nah, I don't like this game. I'm playing something else.
Yeah.
And because I ultimately do this for fun.
Honestly, I'm in the same boat when
time people would watch. 7 o'clock at night is not an unreasonable time.
Group, shut up. You're over in the...
I was gonna say, you're...
Netherlands. It's like 4 a.m. for you.
You're in the Europe.
Like, okay, I understand, like, if you were in California, so what, it's like 4 o'clock for them? 4 to 5?
Like
Still, that's like rush hour. You driving home, you could throw this on.
Right. It's 2:21. Yeah, exactly. It's freaking 8:21 here.
Hey, group, but you're still here.
You are still here, so I don't know why you're complaining. We hope Game Tunes do more Billy Bust Up soon when the full game comes out. Ugh.
Man,
But you got your quote for the night?
Oh yeah, I got an oldie but a goodie.
My mental issues are not your ego boost.
I like that one.
That's funny. That's funny.
It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Oh yeah, I've heard that one before.
Miyamoto Musuni? I can't read Japanese names right.
Congratulations.
Arigato kudasai. Hey,
Mine,
Elliot.
I'll be cheating a little bit. I'm doing a Bible verse just because it's like it's been important to me recently. It's Psalms 118:24. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And it's kind of like it's something that I tell myself when I'm having a bad day, where I'm like, you know what? The Lord made this day, and I get to experience it. I shouldn't let things like this affect me as much. And it's made a lot of days a lot easier. You have a lyric from a song that really hit you? Let's hear it.
Fuck you, I don't do what you tell me.
Alright, no, it's not.
Oh, I should not have reclined in my chair. I'm like comfy now.
I was trying to think of the lyrics to Fat Lip by Sum 41.
You know what's really interesting to me, Spencer, is that you and me have such a general knowledge of about so many different things that we could do a podcast about so many different avenues. Like we could sit down and do a movie podcast. We do gaming podcast here. We could do podcasts on cooking.
Oh, sorry. I just realized the Game Tunes one, that was a different chatter. I looked at it and I just saw like it's almost the exact same color as Group's thing, and I didn't even register. What's up, Mark? Sorry.
What's really funny? The only reason I could tell them apart was one was a G, one was an M.
I didn't even see that. I just saw the message, and it in my periphery the colors were close enough that I thought it was Group again. That's my bad.
I also find it interesting. You get a lot more views on the podcast after they're up.
Yes.
So people are coming through and watching our podcast afterwards. So, hello to all you non-live watchers. Oh, you're almost at 300 subs. Nice.
Yeah, I'm on the borderline there, dude. I was 6
I think
away.
I think Tyler just hit like 200 or 100.
Just hit 200. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'd never heard of Billy Bust Up before. Is it going to be a platformer? That's interesting.
Hold on.
From the song Important. Yeah, this is the lyric I was trying to think of. I don't want to waste my time, become another casualty of society. I'll never fall in line, become another victim of your conformity and back down. That's the line I was trying to think of earlier. But
I'm at 17 subscribers. Sad face.
Heck yeah. Let's go. I mean, that's what I sat at a year ago, dude, before me and Tyler actually started committing to this.
Yeah. I mean, once I come back full time, which is in a couple of weeks, I think it'll grow a little bit more.
I'm not important and neither are you, so let's do whatever we want to do. That's a good lyric. But I mean, yeah, to your point, we could do a music podcast. We could do, dude, we could
Oh
do
shit!
sports
Yeah.
podcasts. Like
Yeah.
I've wanted
With,
to I want to get back into doing sports stuff, but I just know the audience that I've made is not big into sports. I kind of want to do it anyways. Like not streaming the Bucks games anymore because I work on Sundays now. So I can't
oh
really do
god,
that.
yeah.
But like just doing videos covering the Bucks game from the previous week or something like that.
Yeah. There's I don't see me personally.
Start with the esports.
Like we could talk a lot about esports because I know way too much about esports.
Dude, I barely watch esports.
But like,
I used to watch esports a lot when we played League, but ever since I've stopped playing that, I don't really watch any of the League esports. I don't. I'll occasionally catch a clip of Moist Critical's esports team, but I really don't watch esports that often. I'm definitely I'm huge into football and hockey. I love both
I
of
watch.
those.
Every time I get a chance, I'll sit and watch a whole baseball game. But I love baseball first.
They're just baseball is just boring to me.
Yeah. I view baseball more of a like, hey, I can sit here with my buddies for 6 hours.
Start talking about chess events like you know chess. Eli does know chess.
Yes. The scary part is my father knows more than me. My father puts me to shame every time we play chess. I have to play like weird openings like the orangutan to even do anything. And then he goes out with like early queen sacks and he gets real weird with it. But he's also like close to 2,000 in rating where I'm like 1,500 in rating.
Right.
Like if me and him went to a chess tournament, we would never see each other. Talk to you? Yes, I do. Door. Same. Okay. But it is what it is. Actually, no group. We love hockey. Me and Spencer both are big hockey fans.
We live in a big hockey market around Tampa.
Did I get you into hockey or did somebody else get you into hockey?
It was mostly Justin.
Fair. I know I used to play hockey like when I was real little.
I'd love to play hockey.
But it was roller hockey because I was in Mississippi.
I was trying to get you guys to make an ice hockey team so we can play in a beer league.
I don't think we have enough people.
No. No, we don't. I haven't even learned how to skate yet, though, so...
Yeah, that might be helpful.
But you know, the problem is, whenever I try to go to our local ice rink, they don't have ice skates in my size.
You'd have to get your own.
I'd have to get my own, yeah, exactly. But the problem is, I don't want to buy my own ice skates when I don't know how to skate yet. Like, I don't know if I'm going to commit to it, so it's like... It's that crappy middle ground.
I actually saw a really funny video. It was a roller rink, and they had a hockey player there. And you could tell the big difference on like, oh, he knows how to skate compared to everyone else. Because they're all like falling all over the place, and he's like sprinting.
Ice hockey's big, quite across a large part of America. It is the smallest of the four major sports, but like football is the most popular, and then I believe it's baseball, and then basketball, and then hockey is fourth. But still, um,
Yeah. Hockey's still
Tampa's
gotten
developed
really
into
big here
a
recently.
hockey market. Dallas has developed into a hockey market. Vegas, ice hockey, yeah, but not hockey. Is there a different hockey that, like, are you talking about field hockey like lacrosse?
Field hockey. Ah, yes. The most important hockey.
Because we're talking about ice hockey. But you played hockey most of your life. Brother lost his tooth playing it. Are you are you talking about field hockey group? Like the one you play with the ball and sticks on a field?
Dude, I honestly think we would have a lot of fun doing that, except we would all pass out within an hour. We'd be like, I'm so tired.
uh, you don't call ice hockey just hockey? Okay. I neither Trish or Ian. They're fictional characters in a video game.
But they're real in my heart.
Shut up. Don't encourage him. Um yeah, over here it's hockey is on ice and lacrosse is on the field.
Yeah. And lacrosse is rough.
Yes. Lacrosse is rough. It's not as rough as hockey, but
It's basically hockey without ice skates.
yeah, well, and you can't slam into people the same way you can in hockey.
Oh, no, you can. It's
Yes,
just
but
frowned
there's a
upon.
difference between hitting somebody at 5 miles an hour, even at full sprint, and hitting somebody moving 20 miles an hour on skates.
Yeah. That is very true. You have a point. There's so much to remember in Stardew. It
Neither
hurts my
Triss or
brain.
Yennefer. I'm picking Lady Maria from Bloodborne because she's better than both of them. But
My future ex-wife from Elden Ring. I'm picking that one.
gosh,
Melania.
Melina. Melania is the one covered in rot that is a boss battle at the end of the game.
Your point.
Eli's trying to get the Scarlet Rot Tussie.
Yeah, I can't fucking do it. I got too much of a fucking beard. I was gonna do the... There we go.
I don't even know what that was.
I mean, normally you grab your cheek and you're like...
Oh, you mean like that?
I didn't hear a thing.
Oh, I'm sure Discord's probably like, nope, that's not a legal sound. We're just gonna mute that.
Yeah, get rid of that one real quick, like,
But anyways,
7, 16, 13, 7,
that's about
14,
what we got for this one.
18, 11, 7, 16.
I don't know what you're counting, but
I'm doing math.
cool.
18,
But thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Lance leader in ice skating, and I've been on the ice as long as playing field hockey, but we barely play ice hockey. It's funny. But yeah, thank you everybody so much for tuning in. For episode 50 of the podcast, by the way, I didn't make a big deal about that earlier, but 50 episodes. That is insane. But
we're still doing it. Somehow we
still going.
We have not given up yet.
The plug has not been pulled. But I'll catch you all tomorrow for Borderlands. Have a great rest of your night.
Yeah.
Tally ho!